Your guardian angels have a special message for you, speaking to a heartfelt matter close to you. It seems someone significant in your life has been holding back feelings they may find challenging to express. When you recently opened up to them, you unknowingly tapped into an emotional wellspring within them. Though you may not have seen any outward signs, what you shared touched them deeply, stirring emotions that they have long kept hidden. The angels want you to know that sometimes certain people struggle with vulnerability, finding it difficult to reveal the depths of their hearts, especially when emotions are intense. It can be easier for some to keep their feelings at bay than to risk the exposure of opening up. This person is guarded, not because of you, but because of a fear that has been embedded within them over time, a fear of vulnerability and the consequences it may bring. This person cares deeply about you, though they may not always show it in ways that are clear. Their struggle with vulnerability is an internal battle that may often result in them being misunderstood. When people hide parts of themselves, it's common for others to misinterpret their intentions. You may feel uncertain about the connection, as though it lacks clarity or mutual openness. But it's essential to recognize that this guarded behavior has nothing to do with your worth or who you are as a person. Their reticence is a reflection of their own fears, not an indication of any lack of care for you. There is so much affection and depth within them, but for now, they're holding it close, protecting it. In moments of honesty, like the one you shared, the strength it took for you to be open and transparent was profound. You spoke from your heart, embodying an authenticity that not everyone is comfortable with, especially those who are not used to such sincerity. This took a lot of courage, and although you couldn't fully interpret their reaction, it doesn't mean they were indifferent. In fact, what you said moved them immensely. Their reaction, perhaps a quiet, unassuming response, was a defense mechanism, an effort to keep their emotions in check. The angels want you to know that although you may have left this interaction feeling uncertain, your words resonated powerfully within them. It's not uncommon to feel disheartened when sharing something important, only to receive a muted reaction. This experience may have left you questioning your connection, but remember that sometimes people need time to process their emotions, especially if they've been suppressing them. This individual may not be ready to express themselves openly yet, but your openness has already begun to have an impact on them. They felt the power of your words, and it took considerable effort for them to keep their emotions contained. Fear, in this case, is not just a fleeting feeling but a deep-rooted pattern they have carried for years, perhaps even a lifetime. When people keep their true selves hidden, they often build walls around their emotions. These walls become a way to feel safe, but they can also become obstacles to forming deep, meaningful relationships. You may find yourself feeling at a distance from this person, sensing that there's a part of them you cannot reach. This distance isn't because of anything you've done, but rather because they're accustomed to a guarded way of living. However, your willingness to be vulnerable and open is a beautiful gift to them. By being yourself, you are showing them what it means to live freely, without fear of judgment or rejection. It's likely they admire your courage, even if they struggle to reflect it in their own life. The angels encourage you to be patient with them and allow them to reveal themselves in their own time. It can be challenging to wait, especially when you are someone who naturally expresses how you feel. You live with transparency and don't shy away from your thoughts and emotions. For you, this openness is a source of strength, but not everyone is capable of this level of authenticity. The angels ask you to understand that for some, being honest about their emotions is not easy, and it's a journey they need to embark on at their own pace. If you allow them this time, you may be surprised by how much they eventually choose to share with you. By setting an example of openness, you are already influencing them in ways that you might not fully realize. Your willingness to express yourself openly creates a space where they can feel safe enough to consider doing the same. Over time, this gentle influence may encourage them to let down their walls and show you who they truly are. Although this process can be slow, your presence is steadily guiding them towards a place of greater honesty. In the meantime, you are encouraged to remain supportive, offering understanding and compassion rather than pressing for immediate answers. There is value in allowing relationships to evolve naturally. Trying to rush their process may cause them to withdraw further. Their hesitation and reluctance are habits they have formed, and while they may see the strength in your approach to life, it will take time for them to adopt it. The more patient you can be, the more likely you are to help them emerge from their shell in a meaningful way. Your open-hearted nature is not only a gift to this person but also a lesson for them on the beauty of vulnerability. In showing them the joy and fulfillment that come from being truly open, you may be helping them grow towards a fuller, more complete life. Understandably, it can be confusing when someone you care about holds back. This person's reticence may feel contradictory to your own nature, as you are someone who shares your heart freely, with honesty and courage. However, the angels urge you to see the situation from a broader perspective. You have developed the strength to be open, likely through your own experiences and personal growth. Perhaps, with time, this person will be inspired by your approach to life. Even if it's difficult for them to show it right now, they are undoubtedly moved by the example you set. Your openness to new experiences and your willingness to embrace life without fear are qualities they see as admirable and, in some way, enviable. Through your presence and gentle influence, you are showing them the possibility of living a life that is free from fear. It is likely that they recognize the difference between their guarded existence and the freedom you embody. The angels remind you that your natural ability to inspire others comes not only from your words but from the way you live and interact. Just by being yourself, you have a way of impacting others in profound ways, breaking down barriers and encouraging growth. You may not fully realize it yet, but this person's journey towards authenticity has already begun, simply because of the influence you have had on them. They may be slow to show it, but your words have touched them in ways that words alone rarely do. The walls they have built, formed over years of habit, are beginning to crack. Your openness has created a safe space for them to feel things they have long tried to suppress. For someone who has spent so much time shielding themselves from vulnerability, this is a significant shift. It may not be visible on the surface, but within them, changes are happening. They are beginning to recognize the strength that comes from embracing one's true self, even if they're not yet ready to show it. Although they haven't fully opened up, this person feels a deep and genuine affection for you, and over time, they may be able to express it more freely. Their journey towards openness is not one that will happen overnight, but your continued support will give them the confidence they need to take those first steps. As you remain patient and kind, you will gradually see this person's truest self emerge, like a flower blossoming in its own time. They may come to embrace a way of living that is more aligned with who they genuinely are, inspired by your example of openness and fearlessness. To conclude, your angels remind you that you are someone who inspires growth and change in those around you, even when it isn't immediately obvious. Your influence is steady and positive, and it creates a ripple effect in the lives of others. Trust that your presence is enough to encourage this person's transformation, and rest in the knowledge that your path forward will be filled with similar opportunities to uplift and inspire. Embrace the journey, knowing that you bring light to those around you. Let us close with a prayer. Lord, I pray for the one who has been holding back, for the one whose emotions have been touched by the truth revealed to them. Help them to find the strength to shed their fears, to embrace vulnerability, and to allow their true self to be seen. Grant them patience and courage as they work through the walls they have built. Just as they have the capacity to inspire growth in others, may they come to find the beauty of living openly and authentically. May they discover the fullness of life that comes from being true to themselves. Amen.